Hello, welcome to another video on WTF Rose. Today we're going to be playing Dreamhold, a text-based adventure game. Alright everybody, strap in. We're going to go in for the long haul. I don't know how long this video is going to take, but we're going to finish the whole game in one sitting. So let's go. Alright, so we are in a cell. This space, barely wider than outstretched arms, seems to have been chopped raw and square from unfinished stone. Only the floor is smooth, a fine white surface beneath your feet. There is a narrow gap in the east wall. Let's go east. Oh wait, we're gonna put on expert mode. Narrow hallway. You are standing in a short, windowless hallway. To the east is the foot of a flight of stairs which rises out of sight. To the west, the hallway narrows, ending in a small gap of a doorway. Let's go east. Crowded study. You stand amid clutter, oddments, shelves, and stacks. The chamber is comfortably broad, centered around a massive and well-worn wooden desk. But so much is jammed in around the desk and up the panel walls that you barely find room to stand. Books, papers, dried plants, animals stuffed and preserved, antique instruments, candles of any hue. You don't recognize half of it, and you can't name half the rest. There are wide doorways on the north and east sides of the room. A door of heavy wood stands closed to the south, and stairs descend into dimness to the west. You see an immense book on the desk. Behind the desk is a tall glass fronted cabinet. Beside that is a small brass trunk which is closed. If there were a quarter as much here and 10th as many books, you might be in any scholar's study. But this knowledge must represent lifetimes of work, lifetimes under a single hand. You do not know where you are, but you know what this place is: a dreamhold, a wizard's high house. You do not find yourself afraid. A dreamhold is more than merely dangerous. Okay, let's see here. What should we do? I think there's a mask in here. Let's see if there's a mask. It looks like a paper mask, half life size, but its curves are a delicately shaded illusion. The mask is flat, an inexplicable cutout of a human face. You can tell little about the person depicted. You have only an impression of unformed childhood. Something about the mask seems familiar, not recognizable, but comfortable, as if it belonged to you, unlike everything else around you. Take mask. Take mask. Okay, now wear mask. Memory stirs. Oh, hold on. The mask has no ribbons to tie. It is not even curved to fit a human face. In any case, it's half life size. It cannot be worn. Nonetheless, you try raising the mask before your eyes. Memory stirs. A child runs through the forest. A robe, richly bright embroidered, has slipped off one skinny shoulder. A child old enough to be put in clothes, too young to know what it means to wear them. A silver-haired child whose glance darts from tree to bird, caught everywhere. A mother's voice shouting, not patient, not yet urgent. The child attends this with the same interest as bush flower fascinating new rustles underfoot. The name again. A moist leaf torn from a tree, clutched in a small fist, tossed in the air, blown about, blown upward again and again as the child dances back and forth. Face raised, flushed, puffing madly. Mother's voice interrupting the game. The child spins once more, dashes back towards dinner. The leaf flutters about in the air. It circles a tree, then rises to a high branch, clings there. It seems to bend this way and that. Then it casts loose and flutters determinedly after its thoughtless maker. You yank the mask away with a shudder. What are these memories? Do they belong to the wizard whose house you are disturbing? Okay, so we got the mask. What else do we gotta do? We gotta look at the trunk. A small square trunk is pushed up against the back wall, besides a tall cabinet. The trunk's panels and lids are tarnished brass. They're engraved with worn geometric designs. The trunk sits closed. Open trunk. You hesitate a moment, prying into a wizard's possessions, but you're already standing in his home, and you could as easily be damned for making free with his candlelight as his trunk. You reach out, flip the brass lid, and step back back in one movement. A copper key glints at the very bottom of the trunk. Take key. Taken. Let's check the door. Check door. The door is heavy wooden. It's of heavy wooden plank strapped with iron. The knob is secured with a thick iron lock. The door is closed. Unlock door with key. The copper key is too small. Okay, so it doesn't work. Let's go east. Curtain room. The walls of the small room are entirely swathed in heavy brocade curtains. The only openings are to the west and northwest, and a closed lead slab door to the south. In the center of the room is a massive high-backed chair of some pale wood. Directly before it is a tall mirror in a standing frame. Let's go look through keyhole. Nothing is visible through the keyhole. Unlock door with key. The copper key does not fit the door's keyhole. Okay. Northwest. City room. Okay. This room seems more inviting. The walls are painted with delicate patterns of flowers which merge into a soft-hued carpet beneath your feet. Two chairs are cushioned, and a cushioned settee face a bright flickering fireplace on the far wall. A desert landscape painting hangs above the fireplace. You see doorways to the south, and in the southeast corner of the room, a white painted door to the east is closed. So here we gotta take the painting, I think, with the X painting. The painting shows a stark rocky desert at dawn. The sunlight stains the dusty stones to harsh scarlets and rust. But the land seems serene for all that, unthreatened. Take painting. You lift the desert landscape painting down from its hook. Examine hook. It's just a small hook embedded in the wall over the fireplace where the painting once hung. Pull hook. The hook is firmly embedded in the wall. Okay. Oh man. Oops. Okay. X spheres. The conical wire basket is heaped high with glassy spheres, each the size of a small plum. The spheres are deeply translucent, shining with an inner red light and radiant heat. Touch sphere. Ow! Despite the mildness of the sphere's warmth, their surface holds some humming, stinging sensation which hovers on the edge of pain. You cannot touch them for even a moment. Fireplace. If you doubted that this was a Dreamhold, you're certain now. The fireplace holds no wood, no ash. An odd basket of coiled silver wire holds a heap of glassy, glowing cherry red spheres. Insubstantial flames flicker above the spheres, and a mild warmth touches your face and body. But the spheres do not truly burn, they are not consumed. Enter fireplace. The fireplace is rather too small for you, okay. Let's unlock the door. Unlock the door. Oh, unlock the door with copper key. Okay, I opened it. Let's go east. Curving hall. You are in a high, dim corridor, walled in cracked and moldering plaster. The only light comes from a tiny flickering candles above. The hall curves gently around from the south to the northwest. You see an open door to the west, archways open to the northeast and east. Let's see. Take candle. The candles are out of reach, okay? Move boards. You're unable to, okay? East. Mosaic room. The walls and ceiling of this room are entirely covered with tiny blue tiles. On the east wall, a few black and gray tiles seem to depict birds on the horizon of a mosaic sky. The only exit is an archway to the west. A delicate cage of brass wire hangs from a curved stand in the center of the room. Within the cage is a single ripe apple. West? Northeast. Okay. This cramped, boxy room appears to have been an artist's studio. The walls and floor are splattered with paints of many colors. Strangely, the room is nearly empty. You see no stacks of canvas or bottles of pigment. The exit is southwest. A rough wooden easel is set up on one end of the room. Displayed upon it is a painting, a bright mountain landscape. At the other end of the room, a tripod props up what looks like a small telescope. A pigment dabbled board, no doubt the artist's palette, is sitting in a corner. Palette? Take palette. Take palette. Take it. Let's see our inventory real quick. Palette, desert landscape painting, a copper key, a white mask, and a quill pen. Brown mask. Touch mask. It's only paint. Take mask. It's only paint. Okay, look. I don't know what to do. What are we supposed to do here? Look in scope. You find yourself standing in a dark culvert of some kind. The curving walls are polished metal, antique and tarnished. To the south, the channel ends in a circular glass barrier. To the north, it opens out into light. Walls. The floor, walls, and ceiling of the channel are a single cylindrical metal surface. You cannot tell of what metal it's made, but it has a dark aged patina. Rub it. The metal shines softly where you touch it. It's good. To the south, a glass barrier completely blocks the channel. You cannot see well beyond it. There are only distorted smears of color. Look through glass. You try to peer through the glass barrier, but it distorts your view. You see only indistinct smears of color. Touch it. North. Mountain pool. Here we go. Jagged mountains tear the skies in every direction. There are unreal, impossible peaks, knife-like spires of rock. But in this sheltered nook, life flourishes. A small mossy pool, cool and shadowed, with tiny fish has gathered below a rock spring. On the shore of the pool is a brown paper mask. Okay, perfect, with the mask. We need that. Take brown mask. Wear brown mask. Gingerly you raise the mask to your face. Memory stirs. In a darkened library somewhere someone works alone. The tall shelves are crowded, but the rows of titles fade into shadows. Only the desk is illuminated. A map is spread upon it. The pen moving across its face annotates and speculates. Nearly half of the map is tinted red. Along the border, marks and notations cluster like wasps. The silver head snaps up as an officer enters. He holds a pale cylinder, the length of a tall man's finger. He places it on the desk, he bows, he turns and leaves. At no point do his eyes rise from the floor. The cylinder, unrolled, proves to be a length of parchment, filthy, closely lettered. The tall figure reads it once, then the pen taken up once again. In the blank heart of the red-tinted region, quick strokes now emblazon the shape of a crutch. Interesting, okay. Drink water. The water tastes clean and as fresh-born stone. Enter pool. The pool isn't even deep enough for a satisfying wade. Okay, we're done here. Let's go north. Atelier. Take mountain. Painting. Put desert on easel. Look in scope. That's not right. Hello. North. There we go. Okay. Look in scope north. Red desert. Okay. Where's the red desert? A stark desert is spread in every direction. The harsh grit beneath your feet is littered with dusty stones, small and large. The sun is a red glare in the horizon, turning the world to strokes of scarlet, rust, and shadow. A crumpled white wad is lying there, half buried in the sand. Let's see, what is that wad? Paper. You'll have to pick it up to see what it is. Take wad. You scoop up the crumpled wad and try to smooth it out. It proves to be a letter of credit or something similar. Letter. Letter in hand, sum of 5,000 in reparation, military action of the month of fields, property, 6 barrels of wine, 1 cow. Interesting. It's like a receipt. Take sand. Dig sand. Although the surface is loose, the sand is packed hard beneath. Digging would be difficult. X stones. The dusty stones are unremarkable. Take stone. You stoop and pick up a stone. Examine it. It's a small rusty brown rock, utterly ordinary. Taste it? What the heck is this? You give the stone a contemplative lick. It has an alchemical tang, a sourness to it. Okay, north. Atelier. Okay, we're back at the atelier. Take desert. Take it. Put palette on easel. You put the palette on the easel. Look in scope and go north. Now we're at the Sea of White. Okay, Sea of White is the next one. You are in the midst of a choppy, heaving sea, and possibly you stand balanced upon the milk-white waves. You can see no land in any direction. A small tangle of string floats on the surface nearby. Okay, take string. Examine string. You draw the string out in your hands. It's less than a foot of crude, hairy twine, and it's racked with knots. But strange, each knot seems to have different shape. If they are letters, as they might be, you laboriously spell out the word portrait, knotted over and over down the string. Okay. Untie it. You can't see. Oh, untie it. I spelled it wrong. You work at the knots for a few moments, but they're tight as carved wood. X. The milk white waves appear to roll on forever. You'd actually rather remain on top of the waves. With a heave, the sea turns deep gold. Whoa. 17. The deep gold waves appear to roll on forever. The deep gold waves appear to roll on forever. With a sigh, the sea turns blood red. Whoa. Dip pen in sea. The liquid is unwilling to wet your pen's nib. What? Drink water. You can't even break the surface, much less get any of to your mouth. Okay. Atelier again. What else? Take palette. Taken. Put string on easel. Look in scope. North. Platform in the void. Cool. Okay. You stand on a narrow wooden platform which is suspended somewhere in a vast, incomprehensible space. The platform stretches to the east and west. The space beyond is not dark nor is it light. You are unable to focus upon it. Somewhere beyond, huge and tenebrous, you see an indistinct shape. It might be a knotted string. The platform is hardly wider than you are tall. Curiously, you feel no fear of falling from it. To fall would require space, distance, shadow. You see nothing special about the shadow of a knotted string. Take it. The shadow is lost in the void. Down. You do not have the nerve to cast yourself into the void. Okay. No. Take string. Southwest. South. Curving hall, south end. This door isn't locked, but we're lower for now. The curving corridor ends here. The blank plaster wall to the south features a large window. Sunlight pours in, brightening this end of the hall. You can go through the archway to the east, take the closed door to the west, or return north along the corridor. We go east. Dim shed. This room looks like nothing so much as a small windowless garden shed. The floor is bare dirt, the walls are unfinished planks. The only light falls in through the archway to the west. A narrow opening to the north leads to a steep stairway which climbs away into darkness. A single glove is lying in the corner, lost in the gloom. Alright, we take the glove. Glove. It is a single glove, the right. From the heavy palm padding and the ground in dirt, you guess it's a gardening glove. Take it. Taken. Up. Landing. The cramped stair. The cramped stair reaches a landing here. It reserves and continues upward to the south. The walls are close and dark. Up. Mountain path. From here we go. From the mountain path, you stand at the foot of a low rocky cliff. It squats above you, but it obscures little of the vast blue sky that stretches all around. Mossy boulders hem you in either side. A tidy path winds to the south between them. To the north, the path enters a crack in the cliff, meeting stairs which vanish down into enclosed darkness. Okay, so we're at the mountain path. From here we go south. Now we're at the mountain garden. A tiny pleasance garden is nestled here, high on a mountainside. Odd bits of statuary stand among the sculpted slopes and hillocks. Small marble pillars mark the borders of the knotted paths. The lawn is perfectly trimmed. The mountain towers above you to the north. High on its face, you see a featureless white dome. Above that, the sun shines in a wide blue mountain sky. A tidy path runs north between mossy boulders. A wider path curves west, down a grassy slope, and up to the east. To the south, a few marble steps lead to a balcony which looks out over a verdant valley. You can see a particularly tall statue on the balcony. From there we go south to the marble balcony. Okay. Below this gently curved balcony, the world drops away into a green vista. The stony slopes of the mountainside beneath you crumble, invaded by a bracken and tree, until the mountain pines merge into a verdant forest and a lush valley floor. A bright thread marks a stream. A distant valley lake is a silver arc. Beyond the valley and around it, taller mountains stand like patient shadows in the blue air. In the corners of the balcony looking out, as you are, over the valley, a white marble statue towers over you. Incongruously, you can see a small gold mask balanced on the statue's face. Okay, we need to get the mask. Climb statue. You try to swing yourself up on the marble knee, but the statue shifts unsteadily beneath your weight. You best not. Below gold mask. A good thought, but if your intermittent mountain breeze hasn't dislodged the mask, you're puffing from below will not do it. Okay, then we need to push the statue. You brace yourself against the statue and heave. It's heavy, but it tips slowly, and then bang! It smacks down on the tiles. The gold mask flutters gently down beside it. Examine gold mask. It looks like a gold paper mask, half life size, but its curves are only delicate shading. The mask is flat, a gold cutout of a face. The face depicted is young, with an impression of strength overlaid by exhaustion. Okay, take it. Wear it. Gingerly, you raise the mask to your face. Memory stirs. A man and a woman, they lean on each other, a dim and distant exhaustion. Between them, they cradle a dark-haired infant. It is the only thing in the world as they always are. A silver head shakes. A hand draws back the blanket. The infant has a clubbed foot, twisted and drawn in. The couple put out their hands once again. Light curls out of the air. Blue and green, violet and no color at all. Luminous currents slide down the infant's limbs. It twists and winds, fretting, but the child is exhausted as well. Then the light splinters and is gone. The foot is unchanged. The infant gathers itself for another howl. Its parents rock it absently, but they are looking at each other. The silver-haired one snaps a word. Both know the anger is self-directed and is despair. Ugh. Okay. So we did that. We go south now. The balustrade protects you from a fall. Oh, whoops. North. Mountain garden. Warm bower. Okay, we're at the warm bower. Warm bower. This corner of the garden is cozily tucked into a natural alcove surrounded by stone bluffs on three sides. The sun is hot on your face. To the south, the ground drops away, revealing a lush valley below. The path back to the garden curves up around an outcropping to the east. Small shrubs dot in this garden bower, but a single tall and wild bush dominates the space. Its branches twist in intricate profusion, then leap chaotically upward, spraying gold-veined leaves through the air. Berries. There's berries on the bush. Bright orange berries hang in clusters amid the narrow leaves. You catch a whiff of wood smoke, the same smoke you saw while descending the path. You glance around for the fire, and realize that the smoke is drifting from the bush. You see no flames, nor even ember glow, but gray wisps curl from the coal-black stems and branches. The smoke trails up from the bush, buoyed on its own heat, and vanishes upward in a wind-tossed ribbon. Let's go take berries. Oh, it's too hot. Wear glove. Take berries. You reach into the bush and with your gloved hand carefully strip a handful of berries from a branch. After a few moments, their orange color dulls slightly and the heat you feel through the glove diminishes. Gingerly, you prod a berry with your bare finger. It's warm, but no longer scalding. Okay, perfect. Warm bower. Take berries. East. What is this? Nothing delights a wizard's mind so much as a formal garden, as a focus of power. Eagerly. The reply is a laugh. Ha ha ha! Why spoil it? And then soberly. But as you carry yourself through years and ages do not hold such a garden, even a living one, unchanged. Such an artful place is smaller than your mind. You cannot inhabit it without growing small and comfortable within it. Build it, destroy it, rewrite it from lifetime to lifetime. Some masters of magic, the voice adds in an afterthought, come to prefer the gardening. East again. Cool bower. Now we're at the cool bower with the cool berries. You stand on a small promontory which juts out of the face of the mountain. Shrubs and raised flower beds lie around you, except for the path which slopes down to the west. To the south and east, a sharp drop-off looks out over a lush green valley. In the center of the bower, a single dense bush squats, sullen and dark, its branches knot heavily around each other, then spread into sprays of delicate blue-green needles. Strangely, a chill fog seems to spread out from under the bush. It rolls across the ground and spills from the edges of the promontory. Okay, so we have to take these berries too. There's berries on there. Take white berries. You reach into the bush with your gloved hand, carefully strip a handful of berries from the branch. After a few moments, their translucency dulls to a cloudy white, and the chill you feel through the glove diminishes. Gingerly, you prod a berry with your finger. It's cool, but no longer burning cold. Okay. West, north. We're at the dim shed. Dim shed, we go west, and then west again. Now we're at the dark dome east. You stand at the east edge of a vast round space. It stretches out to the west, arching into an immense dome. A diffuse illumination spreads across the lower reaches, barely bright enough to see by. There is an open archway to the east. Beyond it, stairs descend. You can also see a ladder in the distance at the north edge of the dome. So from here we go west, dark dome center. You stand at the center of a vast round space. An immense dome arches above you. A diffuse illumination spreads across the lower reaches, barely bright enough to see by. In the distance to the east, you see a doorway, a ladder visible far to the north. A low metal pyramid stands in the center of the floor. Its surface shines with a dim, oddly shifting gleam. Its base has hinges along one edge and a handle opposition. Let's examine the pyramid. It's a six-sided pyramid, perhaps a yard across and standing higher than your knee. It seems to be made of metal, but it has a strange sheen, as if the surface were engraved with countless parallel lines. Hinges at the base of one edge and a handle, implying that the pyramid could be pulled open. Okay. Rev it. The metal seems to hum as you run your fingers across. Open it. You crouch, seize the handle, and pull. The pyramid swings smoothly to the side and falls open. It seems to be hollow, strange. Then how heavy it felt. Revealed within it is a conical basket of coiled wire. Check the basket. It's a small construction of silver wire, a spiraled core mouth up. The basket is empty. Dark Dome North. You stand at the north edge of a vast round space. It stretches out to the south, arching into an immense dome. I feel like I've read this already. A ladder reaches both upwards and downwards from here, passing through the openings of the floor. Okay, the ladder. We gotta go down the ladder. Down the ladder to the south alcove. This is a small curved alcove off of a large chamber to the north. A plain iron ladder leads up through a shaft. A vast machine spins endlessly in the chamber to the north. Okay, so from here we go north. Now we're at the orrery. You stand in a wide, tall, and dimly lit chamber. It has 6 sides. Smaller alcoves open to the north and south. The chamber is dominated by a vast machine, an engine of gears, shafts, and clattering motion. It is primarily a great stately disc of brass which turns on a tilted axis. Smaller wheels pirouette on the disc face, bearing globes of delicate glass in their complicated courses. The great brass disc continues its revolution. The silver wheel is borne out of reach. You notice a blue mass fluttering from one of the glass globes on the machine's wheels. Save. Take tan globe. The tan globe is mounted on the silver wheel, which is out of reach. The great brass disc continues its revolution. Take blue mask. The tan globe is mounted on the silver wheel, which is out of reach. Silver wheel whirs opposite as the lowest. Okay. Cord. You can't see any such thing. Oh. Time passes. The great brass disc continues its revolution. The copper wheel is borne out of reach. Alright, we did it. Okay, you grab hold of one of the globe's rings. Your hand knocks the blue mask loose and it falls to the floor. But the silver wheel continues merrily on its way, and in seconds your feet leave the floor. You are swinging higher into the air, sprawled across the wheel. The silver wheel swings away from the floor. Take blue mask. Take mask. X cord. A strip of some gray material is hanging above the down. Take blue mask. Taken. Okay, perfect. We've got the blue mask. Wear blue mask. Okay. Gingerly you raise mask to your face. Memory stirs. The roof lines of the city are slate over brick, but the tower is older stone. A silver-haired figure looks down from an embrasured window. The largest building in view faces the tower. Across the square, perhaps in challenge, its brick arches frame an intricate web wrought of iron. The web shapes a symbol, an ornately styled crutch. A small carved crutch hangs at the figure's throat, but this is simple, a few splinters of wood. Absent fingers have smoothed the rough wood to a polish here and there. The people in the square do not look up. They go about their business quietly, or all do but one. One dark cloak is thrown down suddenly. A woman stands revealed in bright dyed rags. She is shouting up at the tower, out through the square, around at the citizens who move away from her. She spins, gesticulating. She points at the arched building. She points at the tower. Above, looking down, a brow furrows beneath silver hair. But the guards are coming, pushing through the crowd that melts away from the square. In moments, the ragged woman, too, is cleared from sight. The face in the window watches this, not perhaps pleased, but satisfied enough. And then the face turns away, back to the books and artifices within the stone tower. The great brass disc continues its revolution. Okay. Where? Belt? What belt? Did I miss something? Am I supposed to have this belt? Take 10 lube. Okay, I don't know if I need that belt thing, but I'm gonna keep going. North alcove. This is a small curved room alcove off a large chamber to the south. An archway to the north reveals a flight of ascending stairs. A pale gauzy rag is crumpled at the alcove's edge.
But is it really reality? The question sparkles with unheeded eagerness. The questioner's gaze is fiercely entangled among the turning rings and delicate gears. Of course it's not, comes the reply. The model has not even the right form. The sky is not full of wheels upon wheels, but overrunning in the interruption. That does not mean the model lacks power.
The voice is suddenly dry.
Symbolism and intent, child. What better symbol for power than this? A machine just within our own limits of understanding.
The machine revolves. So we take the rag. You lift the rag and spread it into your hands. It's finer than you had originally thought. A delicate cobwebby gauze, but the weave is racked with holes. The machine hums through new configurations. Touch it. The pale strands are soft as felt. The machine spins on. Curving hall, west end. The curving corridor ends here, in a blank plaster wall relieved by a single window. The window looks out on a strange subterranean prospect to the west. You can return east, pass through the archway to the north, or take the stairs which descend to the south. We're going to go north to the Arboretum. The walls here are painted white and utterly undecorated. An archway leads south. In the center of the room stands an earthenware tub. From its sprout a tangle of vines, broad fan-like leaves, and an enormous golden flower. The luxuriant growth clashes, you think, with the room's stark emptiness. An iron key is balanced nearly on the edge of the tub. X iron key. Take key. Take the key. We got the key. Smell flower. Oh. We smelled the flower, and now what happened? You lean forward and take a deep breath of the flower's aroma. Memory nearly bursts through. Dank jungle in the earthenware tub. You are standing waist deep in an empty earthenware tub in the midst of a trackless jungle. Heavy, entangled trunks and vines loom in every direction, as far as you can see, and you can't see far. The sky is entirely obscured by layers of vegetation. Only a murky green light filters down to you, but golden flowers dot the trees like bursts of sun. Climb vines. No vines hanging near. X vines. Green vegetation surrounds you. Climb vines. No vines. X flowers. The flowers must be large, but they are high overhead, hanging from the vines that twist around every tree in sight. The jungle canopy is spotted with gold and green dimness. The earthenware tub is empty. Out. Okay, we're back at the Arboretum. Okay, go south, east, curving hall at pedestal. Okay. The dingy plaster walls of this corridor curve out of sight to the west and southeast. Tiny candles provide the only illumination. Archways lead north and northeast. A short pedestal of black marble stands by the inner wall. A short square pedestal of black marble stands here. It's entirely out of place. You get the impression that the owner just shoved it against a wall one day and never bothered to move it. Take it. It's too heavy. Push it. The pedestal is too heavy to budge. Look behind the pedestal. You don't see anything between the pedestal. Sit on it. Too narrow. Okay, that was dumb. Okay, X harp. Oh, broad golden pillars march around the edge of a circular chamber. The walls between the pillars are deeply set, painted in variegated shades of blue and sea green, and lit from some hidden source. An archway leads southwest, and there is a door to the east. The eastern door is closed. Blinding light seeps out around its edges. In the center of this room, the remains of a tall harp stands in proud ruin. Off to one side, lying on the floor, you see something that looks like a short bundle of straw. Examine harp. This once proud instrument looks as if it was destroyed in an inferno. Although the room shows no other signs of a fire, The harp's pillars and frames are blackened and cracked. The sound box is split apart. The few remaining strings are curled knots of ash. What is this, you wonder? In a wizard's house? A failed spell? A defeated enemy? A strayed memory? Or a warning? Or a word of past or prophecy? Or a splinter of charred wood? Let's try taking in the harp. The harp is too large to move. Okay. X string. The knotted string. You draw the string out in your hands. Oh, it's the same string we had. Take it. You already have that. X straw. Take a closer look at the bundle of straw. Your best guess is that it's a torch of some sort. The straw is tied tightly at one end and forming a handle. The other end is splayed and seems to be slightly charred. Take torch. Taken, okay. X door. Open door. Intolerable brilliance seeps around the edges of the closed door. You can see a keyhole, only a simple latch. Oh no, you can see no keyhole, only a simple latch. The door is jammed fast against this latch. You can move neither of them. It feels as if a mountain's weight leans against the other side of the door. Okay. Hit pillars. Thump. Southwest. North. Natural passage. North. Darkness. Put orange berry on torch. Vaulting cavern. Look in pit. Okay. Vaulting cavern. A high arched space opens around you, deep within the earth. The floor is unevenly interspersed with stalagmites and stone columns. Your torchlight glitters in droplets from the stalactites above. Between the pale hanging pinnacles of frozen stone, a vein of dark ore streaks the vault. A narrow passage leads away to the south. A broader one enters on the west side. It once crossed the cave, but the eastern exit has collapsed. A low crawl runs northeast. At one edge of the cave, a pit descends abruptly. Wisps of steam rise from its depths. You can't see very far down. West. Shore of river. Okay. You stand on the eastern shore of a black river, a silent sheet of mirror dark water which slips by as you watch. Somewhere far to the south, you hear the thin roar of falling water. A broad passage leads back to the east. The far shore is a narrow ledge of scree. You can see a green mask lying amid the rubble there. Examine green mask. You can see the green mask on the far side of the river. It looks like a green paper cutout of a human face. The sound of a waterfall echoes somewhere to the south out of sight. Swim. You cannot tell how deep the water is, but it is moving quite fast. If you lost your footing or tried to swim, you would certainly be swept away. Jump over river. The river is several yards wide. Okay. Put white berry in river. You toss a white berry into the water. The response catches your breath away. Planes of frost crackle across the river's surface. Water eddies up around the obstruction and is subsumed as quickly. The ice snaps and groans, crackling and splitting and freezing again so faster as you can follow. In seconds, an uneven sheet of ice has formed across the entire width of the river. It seems solid, although water hisses and bubbles underneath. So now we go west. Yeah, far shore of the river. You have reached the western side of the subterranean river. A narrow shelf of loose rubble slopes down to the water's frozen edge. The ice still spans the river, although it is slowly wearing away in the silent current. The shore does not extend far upstream or down, but at the top of the slope, a narrow crawl leads southwest away from the river passage. A green mask is lying in the scree. You can see the upstream edge of the ice slowly but steadily wearing away in the current. Take green mask. Wear green mask. Gingerly you raise the mask to your face. Memory stirs. A tent rests in the mud. It is rigidly upright, defying the stains and any weariness. Once gold laces twitch against once white cloth. Then a figure is emerging. It too is rigidly upright, stained and dirtied, although the hair remains silver. Facing the tent are 4 soldiers. The man they surround is a soldier too, but his red sashes are hasty, crudely torn from some flag and stitched to a soldier's common clothes. He looks too young for them. The man carries no weapon, though his escorts eye him as if he might pull one out of any puddle of mud. What he carries instead is the length of hacked wood with a shattered handle. He kneels in the mud and lays it at the tall figure's feet. The eyes that peer down from beneath silver hair seem only tired. The figure turns away and reaches for the tent flap again, but a fist clenches on the lacing. Harsh yellow light splinters the air. A length of wood, which might once have been a crutch once a war ago, flares into fire, ember, and ash. The ice creaks alarmingly. Southwest. River crawl. Okay. You are crouched in a narrow, twisting crawlway. A faint rushing sound distant above you reveals that you are some way below the dark river. The crawl slopes upward to the northeast, back the way you came, and angles even more sharply downward to the southeast. The water's movement is somehow amplified by its passage through stone. The river must not be far above. Southeast. Ledge in pit. You are balanced on a ledge, leaning against the wall of a twisty, irregular pit. Across from you and slightly above, you can see a narrow opening in the wall. A climbable rough path leads upward. You might be able to descend further, but the pit beneath you is nearly vertical, and the stone is damp and slippery with condensation. A warm breath of air rises slowly up the pit, steadily carrying with it an eddying stream of mist. Your torch, thankfully, has landed nearby. Take torch. Sorry, I didn't want to die. So I just been doing very careful. Okay, we're back at the vaulting cavern. Let's see the bracelet that we got. You see a broad band of darkly tarnished metal. You cannot tell what metal. An incomplete ring, so that it may easily be slipped on and off. The outer surface is finely engraved with a curving, cross-grained pattern. Look in it. You peer at the inside of the surface of the bracelet. Nothing is visible but tarnished metal. The steam thickens. Read it. You give the bracelet a few hard rubs, but the tarnish seems to be deeply worn in the middle. Wear it. With some effort, you slip the bracelet onto your left hand. Okay. Confusing passage. Dead end. Okay, we're at the cistern. Cistern West. You are at the edge of an immense and empty elliptical chamber. The walls are of granite blocks, tightly fitted and dressed, bare of window or ornament. It feels like a vast cistern, not a place for human habitation. The only exit is the door directly west. The floor is a flat, perfect plane of black stone, or metal, or glass. You can't tell what it is. The roof far above is an equally flat and perfectly surfaced, a featureless, luminescent white. Both spread out eastward, defining the chamber between them, and halfway between, a glass catwalk runs around the wall, girding the room. A black column rises along the east wall from the black floor up to the catwalk. The iron door swings to a faint boom. The red mask is on the catwalk, high above the eastern side of the room. You can see it clearly through the glass. East? Cistern East. You are at the eastern side of elliptical cistern, standing next to a low glass platform. The platform is about 3 strides across. It juts out from the granite wall, a bare inch above the dead black floor. High above you, a glass catwalk runs around the room's perimeter. A black column... Yeah, okay. The lever. Heavy iron lever rises from the platform of the wall. Pull lever. First stepping out onto the glass platform, you pull the lever which clunks stiffly down. The clunk is echoed from below you. A curious, thick gurgle sounds somewhere below you. Sting. Okay, so it's like an elevator. X-weave. You're at the bottom of the cistern at the edge where the down-sloping floor meets the east wall. Directly above you hangs the glass platform. Yards above that, the catwalk circumnavigates the room, and above that, the white ellipse of the ceiling spreads its featureless radiance. A black column rises along the east walls and the floor up to the catwalk. It passes just to the right of the platform. At the lowest angle of the floor, just by the wall, you see a black circle, a small disc of the featureless substance which once floored this entire chamber. The black column merges into its rim. A heavy iron wheel is set on the eastern wall. Examine wheel. The wheel is supported on a thick hub which protrudes from the wall. The edge is deeply notched, as the wheel were meant to be gripped and turned. It reminds you of a ship's rudder wheel. Turn it. You spin the wheel to the left until it stops, a faint vibration within the metal, perceptible only when you laid hands on it, slowly stills. Between a breath and a breath, the black column vanishes. It goes from the top end down like a rope cut loose from the catwalk, slithering straight down into the well without a waver or a splash. The remaining circle of black sinks away, revealing a brass grating at the bottom of the slope. You now see a line of handholds, a ladder cut into the wall where the column previously rose. They ascend from the cistern's bottom where you stand, past the glass platform up to the catwalk. Okay, so now we go up the ladder. We're on the catwalk now. X, red mask. So now we see the red mask. It looks like a red paper mask, half life size, blah blah blah. Take it. Take it. Wear it. Memory stirs as you gingerly raise the mask to your face. True and heavy beams of wood frame the hall. It is dominated by a high table. At the head of the table, a tall figure stands, silver hair, intricately stitched robes, drawing all eyes. A sharp gesture. To one side, a half-grown boy frowns, tries to ask a question. He is shushed fiercely and without a glance. At the door, uninformed guards carry a bundle of cloth. The silver-haired figure stares at it for long moments. A guard, moved finally by the silence, unfolds the cloth. Eyes jerk, but there is still no sound. Eventually, the tall figure moves a hand again. The wet, red stains that have been revealed sparkle, glow, and slowly vanish from the cloth. It is only a gesture. It is all anyone can do. It is nothing. Muffling a cry, the boy leaps up and limps from the door. Hurrying, his uneven steps are more halt than usual. His face twists in pain, but no one moves to help him. Oh, I think it's the baby from the other mask. Interesting. Okay, so we're at the Cistern Catwalk East. X the pipe. The pipe is a thick tube of hammered brass. The spout looks slightly loose to its fitting, as if you could turn it. And we do turn it. You rotate the spout to the left, it now curves over the catwalk. X slab. Oh. Cistern Walk East, northeast. X slab. X small blob. X big blob. Take all. Large glass slab, the slab, small blob, big gum blob. Take it. Okay. Now we go west. Put small blob in hole. West. Put big blob in hole. Put slab in hole. South. The catwalk is a shallow glass trough, a yard wide and perhaps a foot deep. It seems to curve almost all the way around the room at this level. The glass is badly cracked here. Opaque, glinting seams run across the breadth of the catwalk. The glass squeals alarmingly, and you feel sharp-edged splinters shifting under your foot's weight. You hastily step back, fearing that the cracked glass will give way entirely. So we go north, east, south, down. Now we're at the cistern bottom. We turn the wheel again. You spin the wheel to the right until it stops. As you do, a faint, unsteady vibration grows in the metal. The black column reappears, but not where it used to be. It spills down from the catwalk to the southeast side of the room, to the floor, and then down the slope in one dark, silent fall. Black pools on the grating, hiding from sight, but the black substance rises no higher. Interesting. Turn wheel. X catwalk. The catwalk is far above you. Halfway between the platform and the luminescent ceiling, it seems to be a single elliptical pathway of black glass, running most of the way around the perimeter of the room. We go up, north, west, south, east. Cistern catwalk south. Yeah. And then we go inventory. Holy crap, we got a lot of stuff. Alright, we already have the red map, so we go east. Interesting. It's a chart, the Black Wad. The chart depicts ruling dynasties through time. Its lettering is inhumanly precise, etched in the white on an odd black material. The chart scale is so large that individual names do not appear. Single lives are only jogs and serifs in the astrums of descent. You recognize a few of the family names, a few of the countries and states and kingdoms, not many, and all seem distant and unimportant. But your eye is drawn to a rift in the middle of the chart. Many lines end there. New lines begin beyond it. Dynasties across the world seem to break or shear from that brief stretch, though brief, is an interval of centuries, if you read the scale correctly. A concise note by the rift reads, colloquially, the Silver Demon Age plague, war, widespread turmoil, and political instability, records unusually rare from this era. And below that, in a different and familiar scrawl, history is larger than any one man. This therefore is no history. Interesting. X film. The grate appears to be covered with a film of pale gauze. Let's take that. Take film. X substance. The black substance meets the wall where it seems to rear up and spill over the edges of the catwalk. There it joins the black column which descends directly beneath you. Okay. So there we go. West, west, north, north, east, east, south, down, down. And we're at the cistern bottom again. And we turn the wheel again. Holy crap! You spin the wheel to the left until it stops. A faint vibration within the metal, perceptible only when you laid hands on it, slowly stills. Between a breath and a breath, the black column vanishes. It goes from the top end down, like a rope cut loose from the catwalk. The remaining circle of black sinks away, revealing a brass grating and up at the bottom of the slope. West. Put rag on grate. You begin spreading the circle of gas around the grating. It clings and seems almost to shift in your fingers. And now you see that the holes in the pale web line up precisely with the holes in the brass beneath it. In a few moments, the grating is entirely covered. East, up. Push lever. Down. Turn wheel. You spin the wheel to the right until it stops. The black column reappears, the bottom of the cistern begins filling again. Black tide rises under your feet, bearing you upward. Push lever, turn wheel. Down. Oh. West. Uh-oh. X floor. The floor is black, blank ellipse. The surface is reflected, but the roof is nearly within reach now. Your glance around in panic. You still can't see any way out. Oh, we made it to the great chamber. Chamber. This space forms an ellipse around you, but the walls are featureless, and the planes above and below are indistinguishable. You do not recognize this world. Even the silence is not the silence of the caverns. Your movements your movements raise no echo. A small gap to the west reveals an opening to more familiar stone and darkness. A shield, a gleaming triangular buckler, hangs between floor and roof. Its bright lines are only the sharp edges about this place. Examine buckler. The buckler is a small, slightly curved triangle of bright metal. Its face is bossed with an image of 3 crossed spears. The back is less polished and lacks the straps you would expect. Okay, take it. Take it. Take it. Even your breathing is muffled. If indeed you do breathe here, you are certainly unsure. Breathe. You take a startling gasp of breath. Had you not been breathing? Listen. You hear nothing at all. West. Confusing passage. A small gap is visible in the stone to the southeast.
The technique of the memory palace is commonplace,
says a voice you remember.
Not just among wizards, but in all magic disciplines. One commonly uses one's home as an anchor. Familiar rooms, passages, possessions become the keys of organized thought and knowledge. By passing through the house in mind, one passes unerringly through memory. Of course, among wizards, the technique may be elevated to a new plane.
So we're going to put white berry on torch. You are in unchanging, unleavened darkness to the world below. Wait. Time passes. You strain, hopelessly to see anything, but perhaps your eyes are adjusting somewhat. There is a dim glimmer of light in the distance. Examine light. A faint light blooms. Somewhere in the distance in the dark, you sense the direction is hopelessly muddled, but it could be a reflection of light on stone, the passage by which you entered this place. Leave light. You set your back to the light as best you can, and you move slowly, reaching ahead with every step into the empty and utter dark. The trace of light dims behind you. You are somewhere within utter darkness, somewhere within the earth, but you can make out only the faintest glimmer of light somewhere. Subterranean world. What the heck is going on, man? The world is picked out, not in shades of tint or degrees of black, but in qualities of darkness. Each has a name, and each whispers to you. There's a dagger. Take the dagger. Take it. You reach out your hand and suddenly notice that sees the dagger's hilt. It is surprisingly heavy, and the hilt is obsidian, glassy smooth against your fingers. But your attention is gripped by the rent which the blade leaves behind. A narrow crack of emptiness against darkness. Sitting room. This room is more inviting. The walls are painted with delicate patterns of flowers, which merge into the soft-hued carpet. Oh, we've been here before. Stand up. Look under SETI. Not even dust. X fireplace. Take sphere. With your gloved hand, you pluck one of the spheres glowing heap. Almost immediately, its red light fades, leaving a dim gray glassiness. You cautiously hold your other hand above the gray sphere, then touch it. You feel only cool glass. Take sphere. Wear a glove. I think I already had the glove on. Yeah. East, south, west, west. Dark dome center. Put sphere in basket. As you drop the gray sphere into the basket, its glassy surface flares with a brilliant white light. You shield your eyes as the dome is flooded with light. The dome is filled with white light. The light from the sphere fades smoothly to a vivid gold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You heave the pyramid back upright, covering the basket. The black light from the sphere is cut off, but gradually you see patterns in the darkness above you. The dome is now filled with familiar stars. Among the constellations, you can see the Iron Moth to the north, Parhu's Galley, and Juina's Wall to the east, the Cloak of Night and the Southern Axe to the south, the Doorstep of Heaven to the west, and the Crutch and the Bull and Cow directly above you. What else do we do? Open pyramid. You crouch, seize the handle, and pull. The pyramid swings smoothly to one side and falls open, revealed within a conical basket of coiled wire. The basket contains a black glass sphere. Strange dark light floods out, illuminating the dome and obliterating its images. Take sphere. Put sphere in basket. Close pyramid. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The crutch is a bright zigzag of stars high overhead. King Mejnir and farsighted quarreled with his son Walking Boy. He wounded Walking Boy's foot and then exiled him to walk the boundaries of his kingdom, bearing only rags, tatters, and crutch of gold. The bull and cow are small star groups near the zenith. Jernos desired Saroa, the wife of the southern king. She turned herself into a sparrow and fled. He turned himself into a hoarhawk and followed her. Saroa hid herself in many other shapes, but each time Jernos changed into something that could find her. Finally, she turned herself into a bull. Jernos turned into a cow, and the cow was too stupid to chase Saroa further. Saroa the bull mounted the Jernos to cow and sired 8 brass calves. You've never been quite sure what the moral of that story was supposed to be. Yeah. Starry Dome West. Here we go. Starry Dome West. You stand at the west edge of a vast round space. It stretches out to the east, arching into an immense dome. The dome is filled with familiar stars. Among the stars in the western sky, you see the constellation of the Doorstep of Heaven. At the north edge of the dome, off in the distance, you can see a ladder. The Doorstep of Heaven is a near perfect circle of stars in the western sky. It marks the gate, or guards the gate, through which the dead travel to the All Place. Funeral ceremonies always begin when the doorstep rises, day or night. South? Starry Dome South. X cloak. There's a cloak here. Take cloak. Where? You swing the cloak around yourself. It is not so heavy on your shoulders, but warm, very warm. We go east. Starry Dome east. North. Up. Translucent dome. Let's go up. Catwalk south. West. North. East. Oh wait. Yeah. Put orange berry on platform. A low platform fills the center of the floor. The platform is piled high with split lengths of wood. A tall triangle of beaten copper rises along the north side of the dome. Put orange berry on platform. You toss the orange berry into the heaped wood. It bursts and flares, spattering sparks of fiery juice. The wood crackles slow to catch, but after a few moments a tongue of flame is licking up through the pile. A few moments more, and the heap is a roaring bonfire. You blink, turning from the intense heat. West, north. Catwalk north, night. Put stone on shadow. You toss a stone off the catwalk onto the shadow. It comes silently to rest there. You bend and pick it up again. The shadow seems strong enough to bear weight. North. Ledge, night. Oh, here's the black mask. We found the last mask. You are standing at the end of the long black tunnel in shadow, which hangs incomprehensibly in empty air. The strip of darkness bridges a deep ravine between a fire-lit dome to the south and the cliff face of a towering mountain to the north. A narrow ledge angles across the mountain face directly in front of you. Balanced on the ledge is a torn black mask. It looks like a black paper mask, half life-size, but its curves are only delicate shading. The mask is flat, a black cutout of a face. The mask is torn. The left part of the face, of the black face through the eye, has been ripped away. What remains has a worn expression of irritation and perhaps far below doubt. Take it. Wear it. Holy crap, what is going on? Gingerly you raise the mask to your face. Memory stirs. The one who stands in the field has silver hair, but it is cropped and faded with streaks of white. The field has no corn, only muddy ruts. Behind the tall figure is a city, a bright city with white spires, but perhaps a cold one. There are lights within it, but they do not move. Before tall figures is an army. Before the tall figure is an army. Its soldiers are arrayed in mail and tabards. The sign on the tabards is unrecognizably changed. There are very many of them, and they have come a very long way. But now they too are still. The front rank shifts, and three figures come forward. Each carries a tall spear held upright. Brilliant blue luminosity whirls and knots on each spear point. The light falls on the silver-haired figure and casts a long red shadow behind him, pointing back at the city. The three soldiers begin to bring their spears down. The blue radiance flares hungrily. Then it goes out. The tall figure has raised one hand. No more than that. The spears are clattering atop each other in mud, and the three soldiers are on their knees, huddled over the empty hands. The gilt ranks shift again, and now it is no ordered movement. Mail-bound faces look up at the aching black opacity which has begun to open above the silver one's raised hand. The hurting blackness in the sky now, and the army begins to run. Your memory ends abruptly. You raise your head. You think you can hear voices in the distance. Whoa, what the heck? Okay, now we go south, east, south, down to the translucent dome. Then we go, you should have 7 masks now, and you have an iron key. Let's use them. Okay, down, east, north, west, south. Crowded study. Unlock door with iron key. The iron key unlocks the door. You turn the knob and it swings open. Unlock door key south. Iron corridor. The corridor is endless. Go as far south as you like. You'll not reach the end. South, north, north, east. Sit. You blink and stare into the mirror. How odd. The mirror reflects your chair and the curtains behind you perfectly, but your own form is unclear. Everything feels in its place. Okay, so now we have to put on the mask on the mirror. Put white mask on mirror. Where is it? Oh, you hold the white mask up against the mirror, over the reflection of your face. Then the mask is no longer in your grasp. It seems to float in the surface of the mirror, or it is now worn by your reflection. You know this. When you sneak out at night to gaze upon the stars, you can hear them laugh and tell each other stories. Cannot everyone? Okay, so we're just gonna put on the mask. Put gold mask in mirror on mirror. Put red mask on mirror. Put brown mask on mirror. Put green mask on mirror. Put blue mask on mirror. Put black mask on mirror. Now we look at the mirror. Okay. Your reflection is a patchwork, fragments orbiting lazily above the chair. You nonetheless feel sure that one is missing. Interesting. Stand up. You stand up from the chair as layers of memory shift like waves within you. One layer is still broken and half blind, the missing fragment of the seventh. What part of you? You can't see any such thing. Oh, we're in the curtain room? Crowd study. You tear the borders of nations. Comes of an angry shout. No, you are the nail, obdurate from an ancient age, upon which nations snag and tear themselves. No thought has passed in the civilized world for a dozen centuries which did not scrape upon your presence. So, you reply, then soon you shall have peace. I shall tear open the borders of the world. I shall take the step outside. And your eye snags again upon the book and heart of this place, in which you have nearly done that work. Look at the book. Oh my god! The book lies open to the critical page, the theory and understanding of portals. I think I read this before. South. Iron corridor. X spell. The spell hovers to the south, mindlessly awaiting the approach of some uncrafty explorer. Break it. You are in a short connecting. Oh. You reach into the spell, grab a strand of the thought you bound into it, and snap. The spell unweaves neatly. The work was well enough for an offhand god spell. You shrug off the reflexive criticism. Far more interesting work awaits. You are in a short connecting passage in a hammered iron, walled in a hammered iron. A heavy wooden door stands to the north. To the south is a large chamber. A single sconce hangs above your head. South. Laboratory. We're in the laboratory. Put resin. You stand in a chamber built of massive squared stones. The only exit is a plain doorway in the north wall. Shelves line the east side of the room. The opposite wall is painted with an elaborate mural. Between them, a work table, a single heavy granite slab, cluttered with the tools of your work. In the center of the work table is a complex apparatus of mirrors and lenses. The table also contains an empty flask, a wooden basket, a leaden jar, and a scrap of paper. Take resin. Put resin in flask. Take dust. Pour dust in flask. Take jar. Pour dust in flask. Put jar on table. Put orange berry in drain. Put white berry in drain. Mural. The mural is stylized but finely detailed. You wonder once again at its origin. It was here when you built this room. Such things are inevitable in a house such as yours, but you still wonder. The angular figure is painted against a red sky, dawn or dusk, you've never been sure. It strides confidently forward towards some unknown destination. The figure wears a black cloak and a heavy gauntlet which might be leather. Slung on one shoulder is a small decorative shield. The other arm bears a dark bracer or wristlet. The figure holds a black dagger outstretched in its gauntlet. The other hand holds high an intricately knotted thread, and the figure's eyes are fixed upon this, as if upon a map or the key to a riddle. North, shred. You can't see any such thing. I think I missed something. Put flask in. Take flask. Put flask in. Pull chain. Chain. Take flask. diagram takes in an entire page of the immense book. The whole is inscribed in a circle, but it has countless partition spirals and inner elaborations. You glare at the diagram in irritation. You have spent months studying it. Look. You see a torn black shred and an immense book on the desk. There we go, the shred. X shred. If it's the left side of the face sketched on black paper, it seems to have been torn off drawing of you. Wait, was that there before? Take it. Wear it. You hold the black shred up before your eyes. Too late. For you, your bitter wrath is descending. You yank it away, shivering. Could that have been you? Draw the diagram. Dip pen in ink. Draw diagram. You kneel on the floor, bring the diagram clear in your inner eye, and begin. The first line is clear and precise, ink black against the smooth white floor. Your work is swift but not hasty. You dare not miss one mark or detail. It was just such an error which destroyed your last attempt and nearly destroyed you. After a time, your knees ache and your neck is sore from your bent position. You do not slow. Magic requires concentration. When the last arc closes the circle, your mind is clear, neither surprised nor relieved. All is now ready. You examine the diagram critically. Yes, it is exactly as described in your book. The latent energy of its geometry seethes within it. You have only to step inside. Here we go. I think this is the ending. Enter it. You step into the center of the circle and seize the spell with both hands. Around you, the world folds and kaleidoscope reflections. What? That's it? What? When does it end? Examine the diagram. Enter it. Whoa, what happened? You pass silently down through the diagram. Around you, the world goes as flat as a page in a book. The symbols are beyond your comprehension, but there is no time here. You begin your study. The end. Thank you for playing. Woohoo! We did it, guys. I don't know how long that took, but we did it. 1 hour, 44 minutes. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed. That was Dreamhold, the game. And you're watching on WTF Rose YouTube channel. Have a great day, everybody. I love you. Bye.